Shakespeare is so cruel. He is presenting the murder of a child on stage. Aristotle had said in his Poetics, is talked about spectacle, saying that these things cannot be shown on stage. But Shakespeare knows that this has to be shown. Why? Because we need to hate Macbeth. Hate Macbeth to the point where we want him dead desperately. Hello and welcome back to Nibblepop. We have started with the fourth act in our last class, and today we will be doing the second scene of Act 4 of Macbeth. This is a very short scene but a very sad scene too. We will quickly go over the main parts of this scene and try to understand how the plot changes from here. In this scene, we will find Lady Macduff, the wife of Macduff, speaking to her son. But before that, she speaks to Ross and wants to understand why her husband has left Scotland in a hurry. What had he done to make him fly the land? Fly the land means escape this place. You must have patience, madam. He had none. So Lady Macduff is kind of accusing her husband that he has left her in a hostile country, in a place where she doesn't feel safe, and somehow she also feels that maybe he has no affection for her or his family. He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors. So she feels that Macbeth's suspicions have been confirmed by Macduff's escape. So this escape has actually become responsible for rousing suspicion against Macduff. Macbeth is now more against them because Macduff has escaped. You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear. Ross wants to defend Macduff, saying that he was doing this because of some plan. Is a wise man and not afraid. Wisdom? To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion and his titles in a place from whence he himself does fly. So he is running away from a place. So definitely that place is not a safe place, and he decides to keep his wife and children there in that unsafe place. He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. Wants means lacks. He does not have the natural emotions. For the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, wren is a very gentle bird, will fight her young ones in her nest against the owl. So if the owl attacks the wren's nest, the wren will fight. Then what has Macduff done? He has simply run away. All is the fear and nothing is the love. As little is the wisdom where the flight so runs against all reason. First of all, I don't think he loves me. And second, if there is no reason for his running away, where is the wisdom? Ross, who is Lady Macduff's cousin also, tries to console her. My dearest coz, I pray you, school yourself. So control yourself, discipline yourself a bit. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. So he knows what has to be done and when. Fits of the season means disorders of the day. He knows what's wrong with everything and he can set it right. I dare not speak much further. So Ross probably knows about Macduff's plan to go and meet Malcolm to make some plan against Macbeth, but he does not want to disclose anything because he is afraid that he might be in danger then. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves, when we hold rumour from what we fear, yet know not what we fear. So he's trying to speak in circles here. He thinks that he's unsafe here, and at the same time, these concepts of treachery, this concept of rumor, everything is so complex now, complicated now. He decides to take his leave. I take my leave of you, shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease. So I think that the troubles will end, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, pressing upon you. So he decides to leave, showing her son, who is a very little young boy. His mother says, fathered he is, and yet he is fatherless. He doesn't have a father right now, but he is fathered by a great man. I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer, it would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once. So Ross is feeling so sad that he is almost weeping, and he doesn't want to weep in front of his cousin, and says, I don't want to be here and be a disgrace because men shouldn't cry. And he leaves. Then Lady Macduff is talking to her son. Sirrah is, dear, your father is dead. And what will you do now? How will you live? As birds do, mother. So this son is pretty happy-go-lucky kind of a guy, and he says, I live like birds. What? With worms and flies? With what I get, I mean. And so do they. So we have a very practical child here. Poor bird, thou'dst never feared the net, nor lime, the pitfall, nor the gin. So a bird is always threatened by all these traps, and she also feels that they are going to face a lot of traps in life. Why should I, mother? Poor birds, they are not set for. My father is not dead, for all you're saying. Then the son is quite convinced that the father is very much alive. Yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father? Nay, how will you do for a husband? So they are playing with words here and trying to enliven each other, trying to cheer each other with small little humorous small talks. Why, I can buy me 20 at any market. Then you will buy them to sell again. He is making fun of her. Thou speakest with all thy wit, and yet in faith with wit enough for thee. So you are very witty for your age. Was my father a traitor, mother? Now, see, despite these small talks, this child is very bothered, very curious about what has really happened here. Was my father a traitor, mother? Traitor means somebody who goes against the king. Aye, that he was. What is a traitor? So he has heard this word, but he doesn't know the meaning of this word clearly. Why? One that swears and lies. So somebody who breaks his promise is a traitor. And be all traitors that do so? So anybody who breaks a promise is a traitor? Everyone that does so is a traitor and must be hanged. And must they all be hanged that swear and lie? Everyone. Who must hang them? So look at this innocence. And which scene did we have before this scene? The scene with the witches. So Shakespeare is bringing to you on stage a world which is diametrically opposite to the world of Macbeth and his weird sisters. This is the world of innocence, uncorrupted, trusting. Who must hang them? Why? The honest men. Then the liars and swearers are fools. For there are liars and swearers enough to beat the honest men and hang them up. That is pure genius of logic here. That there are more people who break promise than there are honest people. So of course, if the majority is dishonest, then the dishonest people should rule. So it's pretty prophetic in some ways. God help the poor monkey But how wilt thou do for a father? So she's asking him the same question. If he were dead, you'd weep for him. If you would not, it were a good sign that I should quickly have a new father. So he's again in a very pretty jovial mood, and he's saying that if he's dead, then you will weep, and when you will not weep, even when he's dead, that means you're going to get married again, and I'm going to get a new father anyway. Poor prattle, how thou talkest. So there is this lovely conversation between a mother and child, after which a messenger comes. And he gives a very, very grim news. Bless you, fair dame, I am not to you known. Though in your state of honor I am perfect, I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. So he informs her that you are in great danger. You will be attacked, and she is very scared, and she doesn't know where to go. Whither should I fly? I have done no harm, but I remember now I am in this earthly world, where to do harm is often laudable, to do good sometime accounted dangerous. So now she realizes that this is this upside down world where she's living now, where if you do good, then you are in danger. If you do bad, then you will be appreciated. This is the state of this world, and she is in great danger right now. Why then, alas, do I put up that womanly defense to say I have done no harm? So what will be the point if I simply tell them that I have done nothing wrong? Because doing nothing wrong is actually a foolish thing nowadays. What are these faces? Now the murderers come in. Where is your husband? I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayst find him. I hope my husband is not in any place where people like you can find him. This line shows that despite all that she has said against Macduff, that she thinks he doesn't love her, this line shows how deep their love is, how connected they are actually, how much she loves her husband. He's a traitor. And then the son, brave son of Macduff, says, Thou liest, thou shag-haired villain! So he is trying to put up a fight here. What, you egg! And he stabs the child. Shakespeare is so cruel. He is presenting the murder of a child on stage. Aristotle had said in his Poetics, is talked about spectacle, saying that these things cannot be shown on stage. But Shakespeare knows that this has to be shown. Why? Because we need to hate Macbeth. Hate Macbeth to the point where we want him dead desperately. So here we find the popular dramatist weaving his plot, messing with our emotions. The child is stabbed on stage. Young fry of treachery. Fry means small little fish. Macduff's son is the fry of treachery. He has killed me, mother! Run away, I pray you! Lady Macduff runs away. She is pursued by the murderers, and we can guess that she meets the same fate. This is the only scene where we see Lady Macduff. But this scene is important because this episode will solidify Macduff's hatred for Macbeth, because now it's personal. It's no more about Scotland. It's no more about governance and crown and kingship. It's personal now. And this personal enmity will solidify the intention of Macduff to the point where he will rise as the figure looming large against the figure of Macbeth. In the next scene, we will see Macduff meeting Malcolm in England, and then after their conversation, we'll find out how he reacts to the news of his wife and son's death. So I hope to see you all in my next class, where we take up this third scene of Act 4, which is very important from the point of view of understanding Malcolm's character and the way in which they plan to go against Macbeth. Thank you all for being with me. Please subscribe to our channel and share with everyone. Thank you once again. This is Monami Mukherjee signing off. You were watching Nibblepop. Stay happy, stay safe. Bye-bye.